Prime Minister Modi meets with key ministers to assess India's security readiness and address Ukraine. On Sunday afternoon, Prime Minister Narendra Modi convened a meeting with his senior ministers and officials to discuss the unfolding conflict in Ukraine and its implications for India. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar, and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman were present during the meeting. National Security Adviser Ajit Doval, Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba, PM's Principal Secretary PK Mishra, Defence Secretary Ajay Kumar, and Foreign Secretary Vardhan Shringla were among the officials present at the meeting. According to sources, the Prime Minister convened the high-level conference to examine India's security preparation, as well as the current global landscape in the light of the continuing crisis in Ukraine. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24, New Delhi's first priority has been to evacuate the 20,000 or more Indian nationals stranded in different places, many of whom have attempted to cross into neighboring countries. The majority of the Indians were medical students. Another source of worry among the establishment is the supply of weaponry, since the majority of the weapons India acquires are of Russian origin. Defence Minister Singh met with 3 service chiefs a week ago to assess the situation of delayed Russian weapon shipments, parts supply and reserves, and upkeep of existing weapons. Officials in the military establishment have told the armed services that they would have spares for more than 6 months, since stockpiles were refreshed due to the prolonged stalemate with China in eastern Ladakh since May 2020. With numerous countries across the globe imposing sanctions on Russia, India may find it difficult to maintain a consistent supply of replacement parts. More than 60% of the weaponry available to the Indian armed forces are Russian-made, ranging from fighter planes, tanks, and submarines to air defense systems, frigates, and guns. Many of these weaponry, including as missiles and warship gas turbines, incorporate Ukrainian components. India and Russia have already inked deals worth more than $12 billion for the delivery of substantial weapons in the future years. In the near term, both the Indian and Russian governments have said that the delivery of 4 of the 5 S-400 Triumph air defense systems that India purchased in 2018 would proceed as planned. There may be some lag, although this is also improbable. Aside from that, India is awaiting the arrival of 2 Talwar-class frigates from Russia, for which Ukraine provided the gas turbines. Ukraine was also expected to provide gas turbines for 2 further frigates of same kind, but these will be constructed in India. India is also leasing 2 Russian nuclear-powered ballistic submarines, Chakra 3 and Chakra 4, the first of which is scheduled to arrive in 2025. Under the possibility of penalties, all of these initiatives may be jeopardized. While the US had been lenient with India in imposing sanctions under the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, (CAATSA) of 2017, there are concerns that the US may not be as tolerant in light of India's continued purchase of sophisticated weapons from Russia in the changing global situation. While India has been attempting to increase its weapon purchasing base, Russia has been India's major military supplier for decades, with India purchasing weapons worth roughly $35 billion from it in the previous 20 years. While most in India's defense establishment have no doubts about Russia's ability to deliver the weapons or supply replacement parts, figuring out how to pay for them while avoiding global sanctions will be difficult. The Reserve Bank of India has ordered Indian banks to look at other options as the West strives to isolate Russia by cutting it off from the global SWIFT system and closing down major Western banks' Russian activities. Officials in India's defense establishment, on the other hand, say it's too early to predict what types of problems Indian troops may face in the long term as a result of the fighting and sanctions. However, the issue has once again highlighted India's dependence on Russia for weaponry.